Hey, how's it going guys? Jack and Matt here with the Toasty Bros, and today we're very excited to be taking a look at this somewhat scary custom Dell Optiplex we bought off of eBay.
We were browsing on eBay and we saw this seller making modded custom Dell Optiplexes for sale, and well, we wanted to see what it was all about. But before we get into that, let's hear a word from today's sponsor.
Today's video is brought to you by Bitphoenix and their Enzo Mesh PC case. The Enzo Mesh features a sleek mesh front design with RGB accents and comes in black or white. Not only does this case have great airflow, it also features Asus Aura Sync out of the box with a built-in hub, along with a control switch to quickly change the case's colors. To top it all off, the mesh is easily removable for maintenance, making this case not only great for keeping your PC cool, but super easy to build in. If you are interested in picking this case up, check the link in the description down below to learn more, and special thanks again to Bitphoenix for sponsoring today's video.
So yeah guys, we were just browsing on eBay, looking around, seeing what kind of stuff we could take a look at, and we found this thing, and you can see on screen, I'll have a screenshot right there, of a modded Optiplex. Now, the main selling point of this would be the mods. It's kind of unique looking, it's kind of taking older hardware, making it into something that looks really cool, and we're very excited to see how it actually turned out and looks in person.
I did the math, and if you were to try to do something like this on your own, just getting the Optiplex and then the slight graphics card upgrade and whatever else was upgraded, there's about $100 markup total, which is honestly pretty comparable to most pre-builds. But you gotta remember, he also did these custom mods, like with the clear side panel and the RGB fans, so you do have to put some type of labor on top of that. So I'm pretty interested to see, what corners were cut, if any, and just overall how well this build actually looks.
So how about we go ahead and open this thing up and see what we have inside.
Unboxing. Epicness.
Woo! So yeah guys, if you're getting something like this, especially if the seller relists these, I know we did end up buying the last one of these. Most likely you're probably not getting this for the main gaming performance. It's more or less just kind of a cool thing to have, and that's the main reason why we picked it up. It has some decent performance under the hood, but it's mainly for the mod. It does look like it showed up in decent shape. We're gonna go ahead and see what Jackson has there. What does it say?
It says packing slip, include this slip inside your package. Item, gaming PC desktop, Wi-Fi, hold up. So it says arrived damaged. I'm wondering if that was not meant to be in there.
Oh.
I'm wondering if this is like a return that he just oh my God.
What did we get here?
Okay, so it appears that they, I guess, just threw a bunch of random stuff in for packing. I mean, props to reusing stuff, but this does look terrifying. Like, I have very low faith in this at the moment.
Oh my goodness.
Just based on the packing slip we found where it says arrived damage, that could have just been stuck on, from something else that the seller had. I don't know. I can already see the mod though. It has indeed been painted.
All right,
All right.
Here it comes.
It's coming out upside down, I think. Oh gosh, I'm trying not to break the epic side panel, which...
Let me assist him real quick.
Yeah,
I'll move this
God.
out of the way. We'll look in the rest of the box. I don't think there's anything else really. It looks like the side panel has some issues.
So I did a little bit of research and it said that he was using magnets. Yeah, so this is actually just, it's using like refrigerator magnets essentially. And it looks like you just line it up where it goes on. And I mean, it's a functional side panel. Like it stays on. It doesn't look the best. It's like not exactly lined up. It looks like he just spray painted the back, just like he spray painted the front, which I have not gotten to check. Oh my gosh, look at that. So the spray paint job's not the greatest. There's some spots where it was just kind of like mist and everything, but I mean, I'm not gonna lie, it looks kind of cool having like the gold on silver and black accents. But looking inside the PC, so the up here fan, and just like I suspected with the pictures, it is being held on by zip ties. It's in a spot where it's doing nothing. And I'm not saying that to like just be mean or anything. Like it physically is against the back of the case. So it really physically can't do anything. It might move the slightest amount of air. It would have made a lot more sense right here, which if you look, you can see through that. You know what I mean? Like you can see through it. It would have been a great intake fan since there's an exhaust fan back here. But where it sits, it's kind of just there. But it adds cool RGB, right? That's what all the kids want. We have an Antec, I think that's what it is, an Antec 380 watt power supply. That's kind of cool that he did swap out the power supply. Although it really doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me that the power supply was swapped out when he could have stuck with the stock power supply and gotten a graphics card that just didn't use external power. it almost feels like to me that he got this power supply just to compensate for the fact that he needed PCIe power. He could have either adapted it with SATA or gotten something like a 1050, a GTX 1050, or even maybe just a regular 1650 and just charged a little bit more. Because we've done these builds. This is a 3rd gen i5. I think it has 8 gigs of RAM and it's running in dual channel. It just looks like to me like it just has a 500 or 1 terabyte gig hard drive. It just would have made a lot more sense if he had just gotten a 1050 that didn't require external power, or a 1650 and charged maybe $100 more. But instead we have a GTX 560. But we'll be interested to see, because we are going to be benchmarking it, how this will run games. What were the numbers that he claimed, Matt?
It wasn't too crazy. I'll have the listing up real quick, but he did test a couple of games and show that you could get 60 FPS on some games that you're wanting to play. We'll probably plug this up here in a minute and just see what that RGB fan looks like. But I mean, again, this is kind of something unique. He's just kind of taken the whole like modded Optiplex thing that's kind of become a little bit popular, that people are just trying to take these Optiplexes that people are normally like, you know what, I'm not that interested in them because they look ugly, and try to make it look a little nicer. I mean, I'll give him that. I like the side panel. It does look cool, but we're just interested to see what the performance is like. And honestly, there probably would be some things that he could change that would make it a better value. So how we turn it on, and then we're just going to go ahead and test it in some games. Look at that.
So yeah, and you know what? We're gonna take that off in just a second. We'll get some actual B-roll of it, but I'm curious to see, does it move any air? I'm like, look, it's not even moving the paper. That's just me shaking. Yeah. I mean, like, it's really not, like I said, it's there for looks, okay? So don't think that fan really does anything. But yeah, why don't we, let's get some B-roll of this, and then we'll try to do some gaming with it and see how she actually performs. All right, guys, so while Matt tests out Valorant, and he'll talk about the settings in just a second, I just want to go and put out a disclaimer. At the beginning of the video, I did say this had an i5 3470 in it. I'm honestly not sure where I got that from. This actually has an i5 2500S. The listing does say it has a 2nd gen i5. It doesn't say a specific one, but yeah, that was a total miscalculation, and honestly, a 2500S makes this just a little bit lesser of a good deal, you know?
Yeah, so in terms of settings right now, once I die, I will check those in just a second. We're probably running on like medium settings if I could guess, but we'll see here in a second. But I mean, Valorant is an easy game to run. We want to give this thing a shot here. For a game like Valorant, this would be perfectly fine. Video settings, we're running on high settings actually. So, I mean, that's not that bad for high settings. You get 60 FPS, but yeah, I mean, Valorant's pretty easy to run, but I mean, look at the GPU. We're almost maxing out the GPU right now, and we're still getting decent results. Now, we were having trouble getting the actual driver we wanted installed on this, and we were having trouble getting this to boot at first, but now that it's all up and running, I mean, hey, it'll play Valorant. Does that justify the cost? I don't know. Headshots. Headshots. Oh, ooh, almost got it. But hey, I mean, I expected this game to run like this. No problems whatsoever with Valorant. The game we are expecting this to have trouble with, which we're going to be testing here in a second, is Shadow of the Tomb Raider. This is going to be the, oh, there we go. Going to be the test where we're going to see where the GPU is the bottleneck. Then we're going to throw that 5500 XT and just show you what the difference would be there in a AAA title kind of scenario. So I would just not waste any more time after this run and see if we can run Shadow of the Tomb Raider. Oh, okay, we're done. Let's get out of here. All right, guys, as you can tell, we are now in Shadow of the Tomb Raider. Now, we had to set this to lowest settings, 1080p, to even get it to post, and just by the menu FPS, it's not looking like this is gonna run very well, so we're gonna go ahead and run that benchmark and see what we can get. Keep in mind, we are gonna swap out the GPU here in a moment with the 5500 XT, just to show you how much more performance you're gonna get, but I mean, I don't know how much more we're actually gonna get, considering that the CPU is already at 100%. So, I mean, I would see a little bit more performance too, but this i5 definitely ain't helping much.
And keep in mind that once we do have the new GPU, we're not saying that this is like, hey, an alternative for the guy. We're just saying if he wants to actually charge more money, you know, which might make it a little bit harder to sell these builds, it would just make a lot more sense.
And now we wait. Okay, we have some artifacting issues there, it looks like. Laura, it looks like she has ants crawling all over her.
What kind of ants are you used to?
I don't know, man. This doesn't look too hot. Wow, look at that. Okay. So lowest settings, 22 FPS. A little bit of artifacting, don't you think? We'll just go ahead and let this run all the way through and see what average we're getting, but as you can tell, it's not a great experience.
I would consider this unplayable.
Yes. All right, guys, as you can tell, the final numbers we got, 23 FPS. I like how it's in red. It's just not a good experience. So before we test this game again with the 5500 XT, we're gonna load up Fortnite because that is one of the games they advertise this being able to run Fortnite. So we're gonna go ahead and try that. All right, guys, well, we were gonna test Fortnite and now for some reason it won't launch. I'm assuming the new Fortnite updates have kind of made this graphics card not work because the driver version is just too old. So that's kind of unfortunate. He might need to update his benchmarking tests for this kind of PC, but we're going to swap this GPU out for the 5500 XT, run the benchmarks for the 5500 XT in Shadow of the Tomb Raider, and then just show you how much better that would be. Okay. All right, guys, so what we ended up doing, I know at the beginning of the video we were talking about swapping in a graphics card, the 5500 XT that we actually had on hand, but we decided to pick up a 1650 non-super that does not require any external power, and we're going to run Shadow of the Tomb Raider just to show you how much better the performance is if the guy decides to opt for this kind of graphics card instead of the one that he went with, which is that old GTX 560. So this is definitely gonna be a better option. Right now on the medium preset, it's probably gonna be great, but the other one, as you could tell, had all that artifacting issues. So we're gonna run on medium settings and just see what we can get on here. But we're actually able to boot into the game at medium settings as opposed to the other one that would not even boot unless we were on lowest. All right, guys, so as you can tell right off the gate, you can actually see Lara Croft. She's not pixelating or looks like she's like falling apart. And we actually have about 50-ish FPS. It does look like the 2500S is still a bottleneck in this situation, but we're going to let this benchmark run all the way through like we did the other one. But just off the bat, it does look a lot better like we expected. Okay, guys, we ended up with an average of 44 FPS, which isn't great, but on medium settings compared to lowest settings, I mean, it performs way better than the other PC did with, well, the same PC with a different graphics card. So how about we go ahead and just wrap this video up real quick?
Okay, so as you guys could tell for the price, you know, this is, you're paying a lot for the manual labor and the man hours that go into making the modifications to the case. Of course, that 560, and basically every game we tested, you have to go all those settings. And if you don't, it's just not gonna play anything. We did test out the 1650 for Shadow of the Tomb Raider, but I promise you every other game that you throw at it, that 1650 would probably get at least double the FPS, but it's still being held back by that i5.
We were mainly interested in picking this up because it was a modded Optiplex that he had in bulk and he was selling on eBay. And we thought it was a cool thing just to check out to see if this is something that could be viable. If the guy is actually planning on doing a version 2 of this or bringing them back, maybe another graphics card upgrade like a 1650 would make a lot of sense. And at that point, you could charge a little bit more money and make a pretty cool computer that's totally unique than anything else on the market.
So if you haven't already, don't forget to check out our other 2 YouTube channels, and also our twitch.tv/toastybros, and of course, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
We'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye. Good old modded PC. Optiplex is for the win.
This panel like has not sat flush since we got it.
No, it does not do such things.